Hey everybody, welcome back to Graybeard Gaming and another episode of Vintage Poor Boy Survival on Elm Creek. So, lots going on today. I have to cut my one field of grass and then I have some decisions to make because I really want to upgrade things, but I know I've said it so many times, it feels like if I stray away from it, I'm kind of deciding that everything I've said doesn't really matter, but it does. So something I've been struggling with is I want to be able to do more quickly. And I finally have some financial means to do that. Now, I've been thinking about upgrading our mower. And so I think we're just going to go ahead and do that. Now, there's other stuff I want to upgrade. There's other stuff I'd like to do. One of the things that we did was we did find and purchase a new grain wagon. It's much larger. Instead of just 10,000, it holds quite a bit more, and we got it from the shop on sale, and it was about $8,500. But there it is. It holds. We didn't customize it to maximum capacity, but we did get it substantially larger than what we currently had. And I'm not getting rid of the other one because while this one only holds 10,000, this one will hold 17.9. It is almost twice as large, and it will go up to, I believe, 30,000 thereabouts. So we can extend it, but I wanted to wait and see how large of a how high our offloading pipe is for our harvester before I did that, because I do want it to be realistic. I don't want to have to, rig things up to make the harvester unload. But one thing I do think that is important we do need to upgrade our mower. Sorry, drawing a complete blank there. And our current mower, it is small, but it got our jobs done. But I want something a little larger, and I already know the one I want. And so we're just going to take this one down to the store, and we're going to trade it in, and we're going to buy our other one. And I'm just not sure why my tires have this silvery looking paint look to them. It's really weird. I guess our tires are just getting worn out, and the steel belts are showing, I guess. But that's just what I'm gonna say. But it looks like silver paint. But yeah, I do like this mower, and maybe I should keep it for around the farm. But I just don't see where it's beneficial. And to that point, I would like to say, we're gonna have to start considering purchasing our other equipment now while we do have the money, because I don't have a lot of money coming in. So I think it's easier to earn the money on a monthly basis that we need to earn when we're trying to get all of our equipment. And the other thing I need to think about is I want land. So that was the other reason. Now, what I am thinking is, let's go ahead. we're going to go ahead and we're going to repair it, and we're going to paint it. So, I mean, I don't think we'll make our money back on repairing and painting it, but it's not going to be much profit. All right, so we could sell it for $867. It's not much. We'd almost be better off keeping it, but we're not going to do that either. So let's go ahead. We're going to sell that. All right, and then we are going to go into the shop and we're going to purchase the larger version of what we just sold, which is this guy here. So, I mean, we're upgrading. It's roughly about $1,300 that we're spending on our upgrade. I really despise the red, but I like the green. And green and orange to me is always a classic look. It is no additional money to change the color. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to buy this one. All right. Let's go ahead. We're going to pick it up. We're going to get back to the farm. We're going to cut our own grass because I want to start taking some baling contracts. Now, I'm only going to do hay for now. I don't see any point in doing silage because, well, I see lots of reasons to do silage. I shouldn't say that. I do see a lot of reasons, but look how much wider this is. Before, we were not even getting to the width of our tires. I mean, we were basically getting about a third of the way into each tire. So you can see this is almost twice as wide as what we just sold off. And doesn't that look good behind this dirty, beat up Alice Chalmers D21? I mean, good Lord, we're going to have to get something to clean this with. Oh, look at our potatoes. Look at those things growing. Yeah, looks like we are sitting pretty good on them, and it should be all right until it's time to harvest them. And you're probably wondering, it's April. We can plant our soybeans. Well, you know what? We can also plant them in May, and by waiting one extra month, we can get we can harvest the grass. So we're going to do that, and that's why. But let's go ahead. Let's get this all fired up, lowered, and let's see how we like this mower. And already I can tell you, I like it a lot. I like it a lot more than what we had. There's nothing wrong with the other one. I just like the fact that this one is wider, and we'll be able to complete our grass cutting in, I would say, about 60%. So it's only going to take about 60% of the time. So what is that, 40% quicker? So yeah, and that's going to allow us to take on some other grass fields and things of that nature. Now, I really don't like doing contracts for baling and just picking it up with a forage wagon, because that's not what the farmer's asking for. But because they're selling it to whomever, I can't say that that's really the, as long as what they are wanting to do gets done, how it gets done shouldn't really matter to that farmer. So, that in mind, I am considering the idea of purchasing a baler, but a small square baler, and simply leaving it up at the area in which we take our baling contracts. I'm not going to do the large field that's south of our farm here. I mean, that's the big field. That's the one that you're going to make a big chunk of money. But our current operation is going to take from probably 5 a.m. to 12 a.m. just to cut, ted, and rake that field and get it all baled or picked up, or however we want to do it. And that's not even to mention whether or not we were to do any sort of wrapping. Now, I'm not gonna go and borrow equipment just to do that field. That goes against what I want to do on this channel. I don't want to borrow equipment at all. So, that's just kind of how I am on this. I don't feel like I need to borrow the equipment to do that contract. But I also am not going to do that contract with the equipment we've got. So we'll just pretend that one does not exist. Now, what we can do though is we can go up on that field, the fields and the farm up on the northeast corner of the map, and we can start processing those. And one of the things I would like to do is I would like to just leave our tedder right up there because we don't need it down on this farm. And across the road from, I think it's field 19? I'm not sure the exact number, but 19 feels like the right number. We can actually just park it across the road, along the side of the road. There's a little bit of space underneath the power lines. Nothing ever goes on over there. And I think we can store our tedder down there. So tell me what you guys think about that idea. I think I'm already going to do it, but I would like to know what you guys think. Is that kind of like parking our garbage in someone else's property, or can I just call it community property no one's using, and that's what we are allowed to do? That kind of like a park and ride next to the highway. When people carpool, they can go and park and ride in this from this parking lot. So this is just like this is a farm lot where different farmers can park their equipment. So, and I don't even care if another farmer were to use my equipment as long as they didn't leave it in worse condition than they found it. So yeah, we're gonna finish cutting this grass. Then we're gonna look at some of these contracts and figure out what we're gonna do. I just don't know if I should get a small square baler, because I have 2 wagons that I can load grass onto and strap it on, and that would save me the money of having to buy a front loader attachment for the Renault, as well as bale spikes or a pallet fork to spear them onto there. And I would also have to purchase the setup. So if there's a baler available that costs less to just simply purchase this baler I think it's worth it. At least I think it's worth it for the short term. Long term, I'm not going to want to sit there and continue to pick up bales. I'm also not really too keen on auto load trailers, but I'm not above such things either. We can always do an adjustment financially and reduce our cash as a miscellaneous deduction, and just say we hired some local high school kid to come out and help us bale our hay, and they're getting a portion of money. So say it takes us 4 hours to do that large field. We'll pay that high school kid $100, so $25 an hour, which I think that's pretty decent for a high school kid, and we can just reduce our finances that way. And just like that, we are done cutting this field, which that is amazing how much quicker that seems. So let's go ahead. We're going to take a look at a couple of balers. I have one in mind. I think it's a Massey Harris. And I've used it in the past. It is very vintage. And that's kind of what I was thinking about anyways. And then we're also going to go look for an auto load square trailer. So let's go ahead. Let's look in bale loaders, because that's going to be first and foremost. And there's this one. And it's 5,000. And it holds 105 bales, which are 49 to 120 centimeters. And we can paint it. But we're not going to, because that is ridiculously expensive. So yeah, there's that for 5,000. And then when we go to balers, so this is the Massey Ferguson. That's base game square baler, and you can lift those by hand. It's not the worst idea. But there is this lizard that we could actually customize its color. And I feel like having a warning triangle is a good thing. And honestly, this looks like the old John Deere baler that my dad had when I was growing up. So we might actually go ahead and do this. It's a little bit more expensive than I really wanted to spend. Ooh, it does get quite expensive though. So that's an option. I do like it. There's also this Ferguson, which, you know, we can run it as a Massey Harris, but I want to run it as the Ferguson. I don't want to run it as a Massey Ferguson. Massey Harris wouldn't be the worst. It just looks a little different, but it looks just like a Massey Ferguson. But I do like the whole idea of a Ferguson and 2200. You know, that is right in our wheelhouse for what we can afford. So it would cost us, looks like 7,200. Now, this is a small square baler by New Holland. And again, this is very much like what I had grown up with. So yeah. I just think this one's a little bit too fancy for what we can have. Another option would be to go with this one, which is a round baler. And I do like this one. It is a European baler, and it's at 150 centimeters on size. But I think we're gonna not go with the round baler because we don't currently have a way of lifting them. These other balers will, well, we can lift any of those. And this is a SIPMA round baler. Pretty nice round baler actually, but it only has 125 centimeters size. One final option is this Welger. And this one actually looks like it could be it's got an attached, it's got the WOM for the PTO shaft up on top, which is a little bit silly, but it could be an option. But I think I'm just going to go with the Ferguson because it just looks old. And the other option I would have went with is this Lizard. I think those are the two best options, but I'm going to go with the Ferguson because it's just, to me, it's a realistic option. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to buy this one. All right. And we're also going to go ahead and buy this trailer. And these items are going to join the tedder, and they're just going to sit up there, and they're going to rot. They're going to rot in the weather. It is what it is on that one. I don't mind. So let's go ahead. We're gonna go ahead and get this. Actually, I should accept a contractor too while I'm thinking about it. And before I head up there, I better make sure there's something for me to do. I also have 3 fertilizing contracts that I apparently have to get done. So we're going to take field 13 and 15 and 16. We're going to do all 3 of those. That one, that one, that one. Now, these other fields, they are wanting, so field 19 is another one that we may do. So and we can't accept that one yet, but what we're going to do is we're going to head up there. We're going to start cutting those fields. While we're doing that with this tractor, we're going to go ahead and use the other one to get those fertilizing contracts done and out of the way. Whoa, that was a little bit too much of a turn. I have been amazed at how quickly this Allis-Chalmers can turn. And you guys have seen me run contracts along the means of baling. So this is nothing new. So we're probably just going to get started. We might cut the grass on the first couple on camera, and then we'll probably finish it off from there off camera. We'll also probably do the tedding and windrowing off camera because you've seen that. But we will not use the new baler and wagon trailer off camera. We're actually going to do that on camera, at least a portion of it, because it's new equipment and you guys should get to see that. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and get this guy up to the field and start cutting, and then we will probably call that an episode. Because we got to earn some more money, and I know this is probably more money than I need to earn right now, but I have a plan in mind for my potato harvest, which is actually going to also open up beets. And that plan is this, I believe it's a fourth smish, or I'm sorry if I but it's this. It's a vintage old fourth strike, and it is just this vintage old timey looking potato and sugar beet harvester. And I think I want to harvest with that. That's $26,000. So I do need to earn some money. So I can afford it now, and it's not going to be the end of the world. But the header's an additional $4,000. So we are talking $30,000. I only have $35,800. That's why I'm trying to get some of these contracts done so we can have some money. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to cut the grass on all of the contracts right off the bat. We'll take the tedder up there, and we will get everything tedded that we think we need. To accomplish our contracts, and we're going to finish off with just picking up the remainder of the grass. We won't ted it all. We'll put it in our own clamp, and we will close up the clamp, and we'll sell it after it's fermented. We won't wait on that till December when it's at peak price. We're just going to call that extra silage, and yeah, we're gonna put it in our silage clamp and sell it as, you know, extra reward for doing the contract. But we're not going to leave it in our clamp until next January when it's at its peak price. The moment it is ready to come out of the clamp, we are going to open the clamp and we are going to pull it out. So yeah, that's also going to include the one field. Well, maybe. I don't know if it's going to include that one cutting where we're going to cultivate and plant our soybeans next month. So first thing we do next month is we're going to cut the grass before we cultivate and plant our soybeans. And I think that's perfectly fine because the soybeans don't need that nitrogen from the plowing under or disking up the grass. So we will just allow it to go ahead and get cut, and then we'll put in our clamp. Hopefully our clamp is empty by the time we get to that point. If it is not, then we will simply pick it up and find a spot off to the side to just empty it. And then once our silage clamp is empty again, we'll pick it back up and we will put it back into our silage clamp. So with that in mind, guys, I think that's a good place to end this episode. And when we come back for the next one, we will be getting ready to use our new baler and wagon, and hopefully it does not turn into the fiasco that we experienced with emptying out our silo. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did enjoy it, please, I would love it if you were able to like and subscribe. Also leave comments. I am looking for a good editing software to learn how to edit properly so that we can improve these videos. I would like to do that. So please, if you have something you know of in that general knowledge field, I would love to hear from you. And until next time, everybody, thanks for watching. Be safe.